If you're one of the Magic players out there wondering just how good Magic Foundations is going to be as the new core set replacement and is it worth buying, well, you're not the only one. And in today's video, we're going to talk about the sales, some of the pros and cons of this upcoming set, and what players can really kind of expect with a product like this from Wizards of the Coast. November 15th is right around the corner, and that means MTG, Magic the Gathering Foundations, the new core set, is coming right at us. Welcome back, everyone. MTG Moxman here, and thank you again for hanging out with me on my channel today as we discuss this upcoming product, the kind of surprise product that they kind of shoehorned in there just to kind of put a set in. We thought we had a bit of a break, and this was the surprise that players got, the new core set coming out. So what does this mean for players? What does this mean for your wallet? And what can players kind of expect is what we're here to talk about today. Now, at the end of the year, let's face it, wallet fatigue is a major thing. There's only one wallet you have, and there's only so many products we can afford to buy, and a lot of that gets diluted down over the year as new products come along, and of course as spoilers start to come out. Now, with Magic the Gathering Foundations, we have some facts about this set, but the only fact I really tend to look at this stage before we've seen all the spoilers, which will be coming right around the corner, is really the sales numbers. What are players feeling? Because no matter what little cliquey group you're talking with or your local pod of who's buying and who's not, it's when you look at the collective sales of products, you can kind of get an overall feel for a product. It lets me know kind of where the numbers are at and how excited players can be. As an example, Bloomburrow Modern Horizons 3 versus something like Murders at Karlov Manor or even Outlaws of Thunder Junction. I have to leave Duskmourn alone because it kind of got a lukewarm reception. It's not doing that badly, guys, but the sales are definitely just done for any new product being open for Duskmourn. Keep that in mind. So we're not going to talk about that today, but I just wanted to note that successful sets and non-successful sets, you kind of get that emphasis based around the sales numbers, how well things are doing. And that doesn't always mean that the sealed has to do well, because the singles market can totally jump you off and make up for all the lost sales you may have seen in a sealed product if the singles are good enough. Now, when we're talking about MTG Foundations, we know a few things. Like, we know it's half reprints, half new cards. That's not really a bad thing. It gives you probably some solid staples you can look forward to seeing again. Yes, there'll be some chaff in there always is, but that also means we're going to see some new cards and a little bit of excitement, and that's always a good thing for Magic players. Even when we're exhausted with product releases, if a couple of good cards come along that are going to fit into one of your decks, you can't help but be at least a little bit excited. You may just be buying the singles from that set, but you do kind of get that feeling like, hey, this isn't going to be that bad, and I can't really tell you right now if it's going to be a good set or a bad set. But we do know it is going to be around for a very long time. We've got years with Magic the Gathering Foundations from what Wizards of the Coast has told us. And before we had the rules committee and all this stuff sidelining us with what was going on in Commander, we had players talking about what was going on with this product line and if it was going to be worth buying. Now, the sales don't lie, so let's take a look at a couple things here just to share with you. If you took a look right now on Amazon, you would see the, of course, Play Booster box for $149.99. Now, that's a little bit less than the traditional Play Booster box, and I'm assuming that's because they know a core set has to be a bit cheaper, and the fact that they probably know it's going to be around for a long time, and players aren't going to buy it all at once. Now, they have these little starter collection kits as well. Those are the ones I think are actually going to sell quite well. The collector boxes, although they did create them for this set, as well as the bundles, I don't think collector boxes are going to do nearly as well with this product as we would see with standalone products. And that's due to the fact that there's going to be a lot of reprints in there, and players don't really want to rehash a reprint unless, and there's always a caveat to this, let me get back to this, unless it has some cool artwork. Because as much as I'm not really keen on players diving in on just a new piece of art to bling out their deck, it does happen, and it happens regularly. Not to mention it happens in other types of TCG games. When you get a cool anime style art, it can make that card just go like wildfire because players enjoy the artwork. And when you put that with a regularly desirable card that sees a lot of play, well, you got to say then that MTG Foundations with the reprints, if they put the right kind of art with it, it's still going to be sought after and it's still going to sell. And that is something that Wizards of the Coast is becoming very adept at doing, adding really classy styles of artwork that appeal to a broad range of audience members that gets the sales trucking in, but it's going to be around for a while. Now, if we pop back to that exact same image, because I kind of jumped ahead of myself here, look at the overall sales numbers taken from Amazon. 300 for play booster boxes, 500 for the starter collection, 700, and of course 200. Now, I'll be honest, those are actually pretty standard numbers from what we've seen in the past. They're not up, they're not down. It's just kind of a baseline number we've seen the last little while, and that's usually players getting in there with a new set in case something amazing comes along, in case they jack this setup with something we didn't expect, because Amazon has pretty easy ways of canceling their orders before the products actually ship. So that has some players kind of going, well, I might as well order it and see what happens. And if it doesn't do well, I can just ditch it later, not worry about it. But how does that kind of translate into your local sales market? When we take a look at our local sales, and you check out like any store, I'm showing you 401's prices because they're generally the cheapest. You can see here a play booster box, $189.95. The Jumpstart booster I think is very interesting for this product. We'll talk about that in a second. And of course the varying other product bundles and collections they're offering. The prices are fine, but I'll tell you right now, with all the stores I've checked, the sales are abysmal at this stage. That doesn't mean they can't change around and flip the switch on us if they give us some classy cards and players start buying into it. Now, the thing standing in the way of even a good piece of artwork or some really cool cards is going to be the fact that your wallet, again, from the beginning of the video, it only has so many dollars inside. And a lot of players have just said they're not buying anything else this year. They'll stick to the singles market. And even with rising single prices, let's be aware that even an uncommon can go for $5 or $6 now, which is what rares used to go for. And now rares are like $8 to $10. And that all comes back to the actual market for Magic the Gathering and the fact players can't afford the boxes or are just unwilling to pay the price to buy them because there's not enough value for them as a player to justify buying a box like there used to be. That's just something we all have to face facts with, that these card prices as individual singles are likely going to stay a little bit higher. And it's not the worst thing. It's just one of those things we kind of know. Now, again, when we jump back to that price and we see the cards we're sharing with you today, that even with the new cards they may be adding to this set, cards like 9 Lives Familiar, which I think is a very cool concept and idea for a card, even with all those new cards coming in, the prices are a little bit lower. That doesn't mean there won't be cool cards in the set. I think it means that Wizards of the Coast, they're learning and they're adapting. They recognize that players are kind of tapped out at this time of year, and they've come up with a product that they believe they can market in a way that at a lower price point at the end of the year will hopefully translate into boosted sales. And in the case of that Jumpstart booster box, I want to mention that one because although I'm not a fan of the Jumpstart products, for new players learning the game, this is a simple way to get into the game. And the fact that that Jumpstart booster box will have a good mix of new cards and old means players can build their collections up pretty quickly. And that's something that we should recognize is a really good thing for players for Magic the Gathering who are new. And it can give a great gaming experience for an evening for players who've been around the game a long time to mix in cards they recognize with new cards coming on board at a pretty reasonable price point. And I know, since it's going to be around for a few years, this is likely to be on sale at some point in the future. So all you have to do is kind of wait around for a while, because a lot of these products we know do not hold the higher price point after they are released, because the money in these products does move on. Wizards of the Coast has done nothing to adapt to that yet, and that's due to their reprint scheduling being so fast still. If they slow down their reprint scheduling, and they made some of these cards really hard to get, that would translate into more booster box sales in the long run, but it doesn't mean that Wizards of the Coast would make any more money, which is why they're probably unwilling to do it. After they've sold it to the stores, they don't get any secondary market value directly derived from it unless they come up with a secret layer or a way of reprinting that product in a future premium product. So that's another kind of classification point that Wizards of the Coast will probably touch on later, but I think if they just slowed things down a bit, that would translate into higher values overall for the company as well as for the players involved. But right now, let's just enjoy the fact that it's a new set coming up. There is some good stuff coming down the line probably inside this set. It just won't be for everyone. And a lot of players will tend to stick to the singles market for this product, which means the sealed boxes are not going to sell great. They're just not. The bundles will be fine. Those little commander packs for new players will be great. but don't expect the play booster boxes to really fly off the shelves, and don't expect those collector boxes to be much of anything at this point. Again, take this with the caveat that because we don't know what the market's like yet, we haven't seen all the spoilers, and the spoilers are coming, that there's always a chance Wizards of the Coast amp things up for the end of the year. I'm just not hedging my bet on it based on what I've seen from this company in the past. And the fact we know that this product has to be around for years means that unless they put some spicy stuff in there that's really hard to get, it won't be years of box sales. It'll just be years sitting on shelves and maybe some odd players pick up the packs. You guys let me know how you're feeling about this product and you think you're going to enjoy playing this a little bit once in a while. Guys, thanks again for hanging out with the Moxman. Thanks for stopping by my channel. And a reminder, if you enjoyed today's content, you can always like and subscribe to my channel. Turn on your notification bell. I do put out new content every single day. Have a great day in the world of Magic the Gathering, everyone. Enjoy a game of Magic and hey, have some fun. Hey guys, a big shout out and thank you to the fantastic patrons of my channel. Because of the amazing patrons here, each and every day we get to create new content here on the channel for everybody to enjoy, and that's just awesome. So whether you're one of my patrons or a YouTube membership member, you do have a personal hand in making sure that this content is created daily. So thanks again for that continued support, and I will see you guys tomorrow, of course, with another video. You know, here we are at the end of the video. Backstage passes accepted. Hope you guys are ready to chill out for a minute. The idea of a product like this does offend my sense of pricing because of the 50% reprints, unless they choose good reprints, and we don't know that yet. So I shouldn't be all Debbie Downer on a product that I'm not really fully aware of yet in the spoiler season. And I almost wish I didn't get to know. I almost wish they wouldn't give us a spoiler season and this product just showed up on a shelf and you had to guess. You had to buy packs and be surprised for once. To have a little bit of the element of surprise, I think would be a good thing. I think sometimes they got to keep things in the shadows and just surprise us, but they don't do enough of that. They kind of like spoil it like it's a big game show type thing, and that's to keep the hype train going. I do get it. I just wish once in a while that we didn't get to know everything. I wish sometimes, like the Secret Treasures of old, right? When they would give us all kinds of like Power 9 cards and stuff of the old Zendikar sets, stuff you didn't know about was kind of cool. That's all. Just something to keep in mind, Wizards of the Coast, if you're watching my channel right now. Now, in the backdrop of everything, though, let's think about this. A slightly cheaper product, yes, 50% reprints, with some new cards being added in, which, of course, have to somehow fit in with the entire overall standard format is crazy to think what they've done. And I'm sure, honestly, guys, there are going to be some hiccups and some mistakes on some of these cards. I think we're going to see some crazy stuff. Knowing that there may be a white board wipe that'll be around for 5 years is insane. It'll become standard in every deck, right? Or certain cards of removal, certain creature types may just keep showing up as an ongoing theme, which could limit how players see standard, but we'll have to see what they've done. Because if you only see certain cards, you only see certain value, you're going to build the same decks over and over. I'll be curious to see if they can find a way to broaden that out by giving more creature types and more subtype themes to standardized decks for standard format. It'd be great to see. I want to know what you guys think. Drop some comments, have some fun. I think it's going to go on sale, and the sales are really low. Like, when I'm saying low, I'm talking 0 to 3 pre-orders. It's bad. Until people see those spoilers, they ain't touching this with a 10-foot pole. Guys, thanks a lot for stopping by. Have a great one. We deserve it. We do.